Here's a roadmap for how you as a web designer, just kind of working on your own with a home-based agency, can scale your revenue well beyond six figures. We're going to take a look at Kyle's report from the admin bar. He just released the 2026 web agency survey results. And I want to share with you how I'm looking at that and kind of interpreting the information a little bit differently, because I've run my own agency for over 20 years. I'm Lee Blue. I'm the founder of DoubleStack, where I've been personally mentoring some of today's top earning web designers for the last 8 years. And I just want to share with you how I'm looking at the numbers in a way that I think is a little bit different from how most people are going to read it. And then at the end, let's see how we can take all of this information, and I'll give you a 3-step roadmap to make sure that you're landing the right kind of clients, you know how to reach the right kind of clients, you know what to offer them, and that you're wildly more profitable than the vast majority of web designers, and you're scaling your business well beyond six figures. All right, let's take a look at the report. So every year, Kyle over at the admin bar puts together this annual survey. And this is the one for this year, March 2026. And if you want to check out the full thing, you can go to theadminbar.com, check it out. Kyle is awesome for putting this together. There's some stuff that's really interesting. First, let's scroll down a little bit and look at how big is your team. Most people are just working by themselves. 59.5% solo people. Maybe you have one or two other people working with you. But most of what we're talking about, just web designers like you and me, just working out of our homes with like home-based web design businesses. Let's scroll down and look at the financials. Check this out. So if you look down here, it says, what was your total revenue? So that means money into your business, not necessarily what you pay yourself, which we'll get to in just a second. Most people are making less than $50,000 per year in revenue. Like, that's the big bar here. And then if you look down to how many people are making less than $100,000, it's like, it's hard to break through that $100,000 per year revenue mark right there. So what do you actually pay yourself? If you take into account like your costs, like whether you're outsourcing stuff or whatever, like how much you actually put in your bank account, and you look at the $100,000 mark, it's like basically everyone is making less than $100,000 per year. So if you like, what do you do if you want to crack that? Like, what do you do if you want to really break through that barrier? Well, there's some stuff that I think is really, really interesting. One thing is the price points. There's like this huge, like rocket ship point in the graph with regard to pricing, and we'll take a look at that right now. So this is what do you charge per project? And this is an interesting question because when in DoubleStack, we don't really have projects, we have clients. And clients pay us on an ongoing basis because we work with clients month to month, basically forever. I would say that probably the average lifespan of one of our clients is somewhere around 5 years. So like, I guess that's an exaggeration to say forever, but it's not just a one-time price project. Nevertheless, if you look at the price point where it says $2,500 to $5,000, this is kind of like the zone where most people are charging for stuff. In DoubleStack, we've got 3 core offers, like 3 levels to our main offer. The cheapest thing that we offer is $5,000 per year. We have $5,000, $10,000, and $20,000 per year packages that we offer our clients. And if you look at this, it's really interesting how this pans out, because if you scroll down, there's this profitability cliff that Kyle calls it at $5,000. So like in this graph right here, or this chart right here, this column right here says consistently profitable, and this chart over here is rarely or never profitable. And like, if you charge cheap rates, you're never going to be profitable. Like consistently profitable is like 25%. Rarely profitable is the highest on the list. So like as you kind of like reduce your pricing, you get to this zone of like non-profitability. And I think that's really interesting because I mean, I talked to thousands of web designers, and the number one thing that people will do to get more clients is lower the price. And like, don't lower the price. Like solve a bigger problem. Don't lower the price. Solve it, like charge more and to solve harder, bigger problems. Because if you can get to $5,000, look at this. There's this huge jump right here. That's the thing. And Kyle is pointing that out as well, that like if you can start charging $5,000 or more for your stuff, huge jump in consistent profitability. So check out a couple of other charts down here too. So if you scroll down to so recurring revenue, like as soon as you get a significant chunk of your income coming through as recurring revenue, then your consistently profitable score makes a big jump, and your rarely profitable score really sinks, right? So like, and this is only 25 to 49%. Like in DoubleStack, basically 100% of your clients are going to be on monthly plans with you. Scrolling down a little bit more, how do you price your work? Fixed price is, we want the retainers, right? So we want the monthly stuff. So if you scroll down a little bit more, retainer agencies are the ones that are winning, obviously. But here's another one that I think is really interesting. In fact, I think this is probably the most interesting chart on the entire report to my eyes, and I'll share with you a little bit why. Look at what's going on for where people are getting their clients from. Passive word of mouth is 54% of the lead sources. That's basically everything. And then if you take repeat clients into passive word of mouth, like these repeat clients probably came from the word of mouth people, right? And then look down here, outbound outreach. No one is doing it, right? Like almost all of the clients that we get in DoubleStack are outbound outreach clients. So think in your head for a second, how many businesses are out there in your local community versus how many do you know, right? Like how many people are just going to get randomly referred to you by people that you already know versus the ability to reach out and contact people. So this is where the money is. This is where the clients are. Like if you would like to be a local web designer who makes a lot of money and helps a lot of people, outbound outreach is the key to this entire thing. So check this one last graph out. Proactive agencies are more than twice as likely to break $200,000. Check, and what proactive agency means is doing the outbound outreach, not just relying on passive word of mouth. One last chart, and then we'll jump into some other stuff. So what's holding you back? So I think so this chart in the report is one that I read differently from the way that it's actually written. It's not like it's misleading. It's just that I'm understanding it in a way that's a little bit different. And here's what it is. So finding qualified leads. So the big question is like, what's holding you back? And everybody says finding leads is what's holding them back. But that's not really what's like, the way that I define a lead is the thing that I think is the difference between how I understand this chart versus what it's actually saying. And so the way that I define leads, and like in DoubleStack, the way that we define leads is you have the contact information for someone who would be qualified to work with you. That's a lead. It doesn't mean they've talked to you. It doesn't mean they're interested. It just means it's a lead. That's what I mean by lead. But what I think this chart is representing, and I think a lot of the web designers I talk to, they don't think of leads that way. A lot of people think of leads as, back up here, they've got a passive word of mouth referral from somewhere or a repeat client or something like that. And by the time you get into the conversation, it's significantly beyond what I would consider to be a lead. Now you're actually in a sales conversation with somebody. And if you look down at this chart down here, people think that with regard to closing sales, that's only 4.5% of what's holding them back. And it's just, it comes down to how you're getting the leads. Like if you're getting word of mouth referrals from your friends or your family or past clients or something like that, the person sending you the referral is basically closing the sale for you because you're basically leveraging their relationship and the trust and the authority and the respect and like all of that. Like basically the major trust signals are coming from the person who sent you the referral. Whereas when you're going out there and you're doing outbound outreach, all of that's on you. And in this chart right here, the only place that that's really represented is in this closing sales thing right here. Like this is the conversation you have where you build the trust, build the rapport, offer something that's valuable, and everyone is excited to work together. And so when you get into outbound outreach, this bar becomes the most important bar there is. Whereas this bar, this is the only thing, like finding qualified leads is not really finding qualified leads. This tends to mean get qualified referrals from other partners who have already sold the person probably 80 to 90% on working with you, which is why most people feel like closing sales doesn't really matter. Like they're really good at that. Almost all the people they talk to, they end up working together. And it's because of the source of the leads. So all that is to say that if you would like to get into this $200,000 per year point, the key to it is this outbound outreach. And then there's like a 3-step process that I want to walk you through right now that helps you turn the strangers from this outbound outreach into closed sales. So we can take all of that information and put it into practice in just 3 steps. The first step is, how do you actually reach out to leads and get their attention today when nobody really seems all that interested in websites anymore? And then once you have their attention, how do you actually convert those leads into sales? And then finally, what do you actually deliver to people to make sure they continue to get results so they keep working with you month after month? And if you can just do those 3 things, I'm 100% confident your revenue will soar far past what almost everybody else is doing, and that's how you get up well into the 6 figures. Now, I know each of these 3 topics, they're huge topics. I could do an entire course on each one of these topics. In fact, that's what I do at DoubleStack. So if you go over to doublestack.net, you can short circuit this whole process, and I will personally mentor you through each of these 3 steps. I do cap the membership at just 50 people. I only work with 50 people at a time. And the reason I do that is because I do like custom personal Loom video breakdowns of your sales calls and your outreach, and like I'm working with you personally and all of that stuff. If that's the kind of support that you're looking for, check that out. If you'd rather hang out with me here on YouTube, then like the video, subscribe or something. Let me know that you would like more content about this topic, and I will make that content for you. But either way, these are the 3 things that make all of the difference. So let's talk about them real quick right now. The first one is, how do you actually reach out to people? What's the secret? Well, here's the biggest secret for getting leads today. It's you have to reach out to people in a way that they get value from you before they buy anything from you. And that's one of the tricky things. We call this small favor marketing. And the thing that's so tricky about that is, and I talk to thousands of web designers, I know what people are doing, and a lot of people are feeling like they're actually doing small favor marketing, but it's not working. And the reason for that is there's things like SEO audits or website reviews, or I'll build you a website and you can keep it if you like it. Like all of these different things that feel like you're doing a lot of work and delivering value before the sale, but you're not really delivering the value before the sale. You're just doing the work before the sale. Because the client, let's say I do an SEO audit for, I don't know, an HVAC contractor. And then I reach out to the contractor and I'll say, hey, look, I just did this SEO audit for free. And why don't you hop on a call with me and I'll show you how you can get your site to perform better. Well, if he gets on the call with me, he's seeing the work that I did before the sale, but he's not getting the value until after he hires me to fix all the problems. So like, it's obviously a sales call. And if he doesn't hire me, he's just going to leave feeling sad because he's learned about all these problems that he has and he's not doing anything about it, right? So like the value is not before the sale. The work might become before the sale, but not the value. So the key is to offer something where the client actually gets value before the sale. My favorite form of small favor marketing is our local legends concept. And I'll actually put a link down below this video so you can actually see our training on local legends. But the basic idea is we spotlight local businesses so that we can basically introduce them to our entire community for free. And then those spotlight interviews turn into sales calls. So that's thing number 1 is check out the small favor marketing idea for how to basically get people's attention in today's economy where nobody really cares about websites. So then the next thing is, well, how do you actually convert those into like paying customers when somebody's contacting me initially for something that doesn't feel like it has anything to do with me helping them with their website? Well, during the conversation, that's when you open up the problem. So one of the sort of like the agreements or the pacts that I've made with myself when I first started doing all of this was, I'm never going to offer a solution until someone tells me a problem, right? But the thing that I think trips up a lot of people is we try to teach our clients what the problem is. And you can't teach the problem. They have to give you the problem. And so one of the things that we work through in DoubleStack and things that I can make other videos about is like, how do you get people to reveal the problems to you without having it feel like a bait and switch or anything like that? And for me, like the core concept is I would like to know what kind of goals the client has in their business and what's holding them back from those goals. And I want to feel excited about it. Like I want to learn about, like I just closed a client last Monday. And in fact, I actually posted a video about it that I'll link you to at the end of this because there's some interesting insights in that as well. But one of the big takeaways from that was, I love her business. She basically builds custom cabinets. And you can get like a custom designed awesome kitchen from her with higher quality stuff for like 15 to 40% less than if you just went to one of the big box stores like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that and bought a kitchen through there. So like I honestly believe that if you're going to remodel your kitchen or your bathroom or something, you should call her. You should work with my client, right? Like that's the person that you should be talking to. I believe it and I'm excited about that. And so I'm going to say, well, what are you doing to get the word out? How are you telling more people about this? And they'll probably say, I don't know. Well, usually there's one of two things that will happen. The person that I was working with we just landed on Monday already had a web designer, already had a social media manager. She switched to us after we had our conversation. So sometimes you'll have that. Like people say, well, I'm trying to do all this other stuff. It's just not working. And then other times people will say, I don't know what to do. It's just completely beyond my ability. We don't really have the internal capacity or like the internal expertise to like do the marketing like you're talking about. And it would be great to work with you for that. But that's the thing. It's like you got to get the client to tell you the problem first before you offer the solution. That's the whole key to converting the leads into sales. Because if you go straight to the solution, it's just like an empty, flimsy sales call. You're not listening, you're not hearing, you're not connecting with the other person, and they feel that. And that's why it doesn't work. But that leads into the third part, which is I'm not trying to act like a web designer. Like I'm not trying to be a vendor, you see? I'm trying to be a marketing expert. In fact, one of the main ideas behind DoubleStack is I help web designers become the local marketing expert that local business owners reach out to when they actually need results in their business, not the person that people call if they just need the website guy or whatever. So it's a transformation from being like a vendor to like a marketing expert. And here's the difference. The difference is I don't talk about how many pages do you get and do you want SEO and it's a little bit extra cost if you want to bump it up to e-commerce and like you configure the thing and I will make it. It's not that black box development stuff anymore. It used to be. That's how I used to work. I used to just say, hey, I'm awesome at coding things. I used to basically build more like web apps than websites. But I would just have the client give me the specs and then I would build the thing. But it doesn't work like that anymore. It hasn't worked like that for like a decade. And it definitely doesn't work like that anymore with like AI and everything. Makes everything so easy for everybody to do. You gotta offer a system. It's like a solution that drives results. And that's why people keep working with you month after month, is because you're working a monthly system. So literally what I'll do is I'll build the website and then I run reports across it to like monitor how they're doing with their SEO, how their Google Business Profile is ranking, and what about the conversion rate on their opt-ins and the bounce rate off of the homepage and stuff like that. Like just I look at the data and then based on what I'm seeing from the real world data, I'm going to tell people this is what we need to do next month based on what I'm seeing. And so like every single month we respond to what's actually happening so that our clients get great results month after month. And that's why they don't ever fire you. That's why you keep working together forever until they retire or sell the business or something like that. So those are the three things. So it's like small favor marketing for the leads. Then you convert the leads to sales by making sure that you're offering a solution after they tell you what the problem is, not before. And then the third step is to make sure that you're delivering these monthly results. So we're offering systems, not products or not websites. It's like we're kind of going away from nouns into verbs, if that makes sense. It's a leadership, it's an authority position. It's like a marketing expert. Do you see what I'm saying? There's so many different words that I could use to describe it, but the end result is I'm taking real world data and constantly updating what the client is doing. And we have this core 4 offer. It's not just the website. It's their Google Business Profile, their website, some basic social media management, if you want to call it that. It's mostly with Facebook. And then messaging, mostly through email. And we take those core 4 like items, or I call them pillars, and put that into their solution. And that's the $5,000, $10,000, and $20,000 per year package. So check that out. If you want to see some more details on like why I think it's easier to sell like high ticket stuff instead of low ticket stuff, check out this next video and I'll show you like basically the details of the client that we just landed last week and why selling $12,000 stuff which is the value of the client we just got, is easier than selling cheap stuff. And then if you actually want to check out DoubleStack and how I can help you with all of this, here's a link for that up there too. All right, I'll see you soon.